Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit Acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Yeah! Break glass in case of emergency. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. January the 7th, just after high noon Eastern time, where we're always live on YouTube 5 days a week. I'm Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is here. Zach, can the people see you? Can we get a little Zach Burke in here, please?
There we go. Hey.
Like 1 day a week, just being full Mad Dog. What do you think? Just doing a whole show as like a Mad Dog impression?
Yeah, that's totally up to you.
No, we can't hear you anymore. We cannot hear you anymore. No, I get nothing. I get absolutely nothing. So anyway, I'm trying to do it 1 day a week, and I don't think we're going to tell you what day of the week it's going to be. Just 1 day. It could be very serious news. Someone could have died, but I will have committed to the bit of doing Mad Dog. Maybe it's a segment. I don't know. But I just, I rope everyone in. Zach Burke, how you doing? How you doing? Something like that. Oh, I think it could work. By the way, I don't know if you saw this on the Pete Souza show, but I am having a Cam show debut for one of my favorite things I've ever bought, which is this beautiful, lovely 1993, technically 93, 94, not 92, 93 because of the Captain C, Maine Black Bears. Paul Kariya jersey. I had to turn around. I got all these wires. It's tough. But I love this sweater. Oh, my God. I got it just in time this weekend. It was actually Saturday. I got to watch Maine take down the Denver Pioneers, which was arguably the highlight of my weekend because everyone else lost and sucked. Well, that in the World Junior Championships was great. But I got Zach will appreciate this. I got 2 college hockey jerseys over the weekend. And the first one came about 5 minutes, literally, like we're walking down the street to get to the train to go to Wrigley Field to go to a college hockey game. And I passed the postman because I knew it was coming that day. I knew it was out for delivery. This is like 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm pissed that it hasn't come yet. I wore a Bruins jersey. It's fine. But I had this very cool BU Frozen Fenway jersey from 2010. Maybe I'll wear it on the show tomorrow. Very cool jersey that I've been looking for a long time. Got a good deal on it. And it came in like 5 minutes after I left for a college hockey game that I would have 1,000% worn it at. But this Paul Kariya Maine jersey is right up near the top of my favorite jerseys that I own. It'll be worn quite a lot on this show. And I got new lint rollers specifically because it's a dark colored jersey and we have a golden at home. So
it looks nice.
It's pretty nice, right?
Yeah. Do I sound a little bit better too now?
Yeah, you sound great.
I had to fix the mic, but yeah, no,
look at this attention to detail. This is good stitching right here. This is from, no free ads, but I do kind of love this place. CustomThrowbackJerseys.com, which has like every team. They do have baseball and basketball and football, but it's a hockey site. It's based out of Canada. It's all that made in Canada stuff. It's perfect hand stitched. And I've known about it for years, Zach, but I didn't use it because every jersey is $240, which is steep.
A little bit.
But you know what? If you buy an NHL jersey now, like the Fanatics jerseys, they're $260. So now it's cheaper to buy these, which again, cheaper is very relative. I can't just spend $240 every week on a jersey, but and it takes about 8 weeks to get here. I ordered this when I was still living in Waco, when I wasn't even packing up in Waco yet.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it.
And I got it on Saturday. But it's so beautiful. I have this one and my Bruins Bobby Orr one, which I've worn in studio. It's just fantastic quality. So, but the guy who runs it's apparently just like a huge asshole. Because if you look at the reviews, mostly positive, but if there's a negative like Google review on there, the guy will respond back and be like, "You're a moron who doesn't know what he's talking about. Can't you read?" And it's just like, he's such a dick, but
that's funny.
They make a good product, man. I can't help it. And I'm supporting international enterprise. I'm supporting Canada.
Man, you're doing so much.
Yeah, I really am. I like
country stay afloat. Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I am supporting that country's economy big time. And really in a way supporting the special relationship between the United States and Canada. Boy, I could talk about this jersey all day. Paul Kariya, 100 points, 93, Hobie Baker winner. No big deal. It is from
just
93,
actually-
94, where he was the captain. He didn't return after the World Junior Championships.
Did they have the white too?
They did
or-
not. They did not. Which I probably would have gone with for whatever reason. I like the contrast on the white jersey better.
Mhm.
I do love this navy look, but they did not have the white jersey. Now, the University of Maine, which I think all schools should be doing, are selling like it's kind of a cop out. It's like their current style jersey, which isn't much different, but they'll put legends' names on the back.
Gotcha.
And they do not have a Paul Correa one, but they do have a Jeremy Swayman one, which I was very close to buying when he re-signed with the Bruins, but he's kind of been doo-doo this year, so I have not bought it yet, and I went with this one instead, which I think is great. That's also $250, unfortunately. So
you're just going to be out 250 no matter where you
yeah, that's the thing, man. Current throwbacks. I've got like a list in my head of the jerseys that I still need, and it's only like two or three at any given time. But they're all available on custom throwback jerseys. So in time, we will complete that list. How about that?
I like that. It's like your little checklist. See, what, you're just two more? What are
It
the two?
is. Okay, I'm glad you asked. I'm very glad you asked. The two that I undoubtedly still really want,
Mhm.
that aren't just like, hey, this will be cool, would be a Patrice Bergeron original Pooh Bear jersey from his rookie year, 2004. You know that one? It's the gold one with a bunch of black in it. It's just got like the standard Pooh Bear on the front. I have the white version. The reverse retro.
I've seen the white one.
This is the original one, and I've been going back and forth. I love Bergeron. I don't have a Bergeron jersey anymore, so I think that's the one I want, even though he does not have, obviously doesn't have the captaincy or the alternate captain's A, which I like having the letters on the jerseys, but I can deal with that. And the other would be a 1990 Cam Neely Bruins jersey, probably the white over the black.
Okay.
I think the whites looked really good back then, and also again living with Tara the dog.
90?
Yes,
I'm gonna look this up.
it's stupendous. Trust me. And that's when they wore the home jerseys. And Cam Neely's such a badass. I don't love his work as a president these days, but just an absolute badass player.
Yeah, I
so
do love those whites.
It's a classic look. Those white and blacks from the late 80s, early 90s are my favorite, like standard Bruins jerseys, like non-alternates, just home and away set.
I know this is super simple of me,
Black
but I
looks really
love how like the white though, it's like the whole, I want to call it a kit, but it's not, but the whole like jersey, the whole sweater, there you go,
Mhm.
is like white, but it's just very subtly the black around the B there, and this, like, it's just nice. It's really nice.
See, I know exactly what you're talking about, because Bruins jerseys in history, for the most part, like this one here, has the blue on the top. Back in the 70s and early 80s, the white ones had yellow on the top, which I don't think looks great. And now they have black on the top, which looks fine. But I like that, both for the white and the black, that it's just one color until you get down to the bottom of the sleeves here and to the bottom of the jersey. I do like that a lot.
It looks really nice.
It's more subtle. I think it's clean. And I think that's the best looking white jersey they've ever had. And the black looks, lest we forget, the black looks really good.
Oh,
too.
hey, it's funny enough. It was from here. I was gonna try to be nice and do this, but I think it came from boom. See, that's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's custom throwback jerseys right there.
It was. It just so happened to be that, but that looks so nice.
And again, a little subtle thing, but we look at the spoked B here, different from the one they have today, because the one they have today has the black B and it also has black around the spokes. And I love this one, which they went to in the Centennial jersey too, where at home it's a black B with just gold spokes. And on the road, it is a gold B with black spokes and a gold thing around. I think it looks great. It's a very subtle thing, but I think it looks fantastic. You save the black until the bottom of the sleeves and around the collar. It's a class looking jersey, man. Now you're Zach, you're hyping me up a little bit too much here. I might buy 2 jerseys worth $500 and wait 8 weeks for them. I mean, look, when my rogue bonus comes in, because this channel is monetized now, that's what's going to happen. That'll be the fruits of the labor. Grace already says I do not have enough space, and I have too many jerseys, but we roll on.
But they'll also be able, like, we'll know how the show's doing when we see them pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. I will not announce that I've won the lottery, but there will be signs. There will be signs. I did buy the Bruins Centennial Game jersey, which we talked about a few months ago. We played the trailer for it. I did buy that from the pro shop when I dragged Grace to the pro shop on when we were up in Boston over Christmas. So I do have that as well. Beautiful looking jersey. Again, one that I can't wear too much around the house because it's black and it gets a lot of dog hair on it. But is wonderful. Maybe I'll wear that one tomorrow.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I think the rest of this week I'll because, like, why not? I'm here at home. I'll just throw on a hockey jersey. All right, it's good stuff. Oh man, I'm so glad you asked that, Zach. I'm so glad you kept me going because I could talk hockey jerseys all day. But that's not what we're here for, and this will be cut out of the clips. The Patriots are now in a coaching search, and I told you on the show yesterday, I don't think it's going to take very long. I'm intrigued that I know it's only been a day and a half, but they've only requested one interview. We think the Vrabel thing is coming any day now. And there's been talks about Liam Cohen from Tampa, the offensive assistant in Tampa. But as of right now, the only guy they have requested an interview for is Ben Johnson, which, again, okay. Personally, after what we just went through, and this has changed for me over the last few weeks of the season, I'm leaning towards someone who has been a head coach before, just because of, the being in over his head. Like, that's what we saw with Mayo. But if you are going to take a risk at someone who has not been a head coach before, Ben Johnson is the guy to take the risk for. Like, if we're being honest, all things being equal, like, I'm okay with that more exciting risk. Because, like, Mayo, we didn't know anything about him. We didn't know anything about his philosophy, really. He was a positions coach. He's a linebackers coach. He wasn't even a coordinator. And I don't even think he was a play caller. I think Steven was the play caller, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. So it was like you didn't even know anything about the guy. Ben Johnson has been a high-end coordinator the last couple of years on the offensive side of the ball. You're building your team around this young quarterback. Like, there is something salivating around Ben Johnson working with Drake May. Like, that is quite a sexy thing if you're a Patriots fan looking at the future of this. But Robert Kraft went to the podium yesterday, right after our show, to talk about the firing of Jerod Mayo. And I got to be honest with you guys, I think he handled it really well. Like, I'm not here to butter the Kraft's bread anymore. That's been apparent if you've listened to the show over the last couple of weeks and months. I've been very critical of the Krafts and how they've handled this situation, as I think you should be as well as a Patriots fan. Like, it all comes down to the ownership group. But Robert Kraft went to the podium yesterday, and he didn't BS it. He didn't fluff it up. I think we've got the sound here. He goes to the podium, and this is the first thing he says about the firing of Jerod Mayo.
This whole situation is on me. I feel terrible for Jerod because I put him in an untenable situation. I know that he has all the tools as a head coach to be successful in this league. He just needed more time before taking the job. In the end, I'm a fan of this team first, and now I have to go out and find a coach who can get us back to the playoffs and hopefully championships.
Like, is it a bit of lip service? Probably, sure. But, like, I will say this about the Krafts. Like, you can tell when they are being genuine. And I think that's almost worked against them in ways, because then you can tell when they're being disingenuous. I think Robert Kraft is being genuine here. And I think he realized this. He and Jonathan realized this over the last couple of weeks of the season, that they made the wrong call. It was too much too quickly, that Jerod was in over his head. And I do think there's criticism within that, in terms of Clearly, they had this firing ready to go before the game on Sunday. And I think you should have, if that was a decision you made after the Chargers game a couple weeks ago, you need to fire him then. There was just too much on the line to let him go out there and feel like he's coaching for his job and that his coaches are coaching for their jobs. Because at that point, the season is over. Like, if you could forfeit a game in the NFL, you should have. And instead, you let him go out there and coach like he's coaching for his job, and they messed it up. They ruined it for you. You don't just lose the number 1 pick, you drop to 4. I actually thought Simmons had a great analogy for this. He was like, you traded the number 1 overall pick for the number 4 overall pick and got nothing in return, right? You didn't get a player out of it. This was not Celtics, Sixers, Markelle Fultz, Jason Tatum. Like, you traded number 1 for number 4 and got absolutely nothing in return. That's not good business. That's horrible. That sets your franchise back, which is what is happening here. And while I think Kraft did the right thing at the podium on Monday, it doesn't erase what they said a year ago. Because let's take you back to January 17th of 2024 when they were hiring Jerod Mayo, because he's not the guy now, but 51 and a half weeks ago, he was the guy, apparently, because this is what the Crafts had to say just under a year ago.
I think we got someone very special who understands how to manage young people today. I mean, the world is different than 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. And, you know, in all our businesses, we try to create a culture that people want to stay with and be there long term. And I think that Jerod has the makeup and chemistry, and it's genuine. What he has is genuine. And just think about how he got elected captain in his second year with us when we had tremendous veterans. And I think he went for 7 years. He was captain in a tremendous period. And then he went out on his own in business to get a change. And then it's just, I think we're ready to kick butt.
That from a year ago sounds like, on the rare occasion when I come onto this show and have no notes and have done no research and just have kind of a topic, and you're like, well, yeah, I mean, look, it was good. He was good. He became a captain. We had a bunch of good players on that team, and he was a captain. Like, it's the writing was on the wall, and I think a lot of us did realize it last January of like, really? Like, this is the guy? You're replacing the greatest of all time with Jerod Mayo? Like, no disrespect to Mayo as a person or a player or even a football mind, but like, really? You're going to make him the head coach of the New England Patriots? And this is going to be like part of your long-term rebuild is to go with this guy? But I'll give some credit where credit is due. You punted an entire season and you got a worse draft pick than you had last year, but I think Kraft handled it well at the podium. It does kind of remind me in a backwards way of the way the Ford family handled it after Dan Campbell's first year, because there was a lot of calls for him to be fired, and they went to the podium and said, no, you know what? Dan Campbell's our guy. We've got a vision here. It was not going to be done in 1 year, and we believe in the plan that he's building. It's that kind of, genuine nature that Kraft went to the podium with on Monday, which is with a completely different situation. He goes, I got this wrong. And finally, I think what's the best part about it for Patriots fans is there's some accountability, because there's been no accountability for the last year and a half. You fire Belichick and you say, then you use the next couple of months to say, well, Belichick got us in this bad situation. Look what he left us with. Look at how bare the cupboard is. And then Jerod Mayo is throwing his players under the bus and his coaches under the bus. And the ownership is nowhere to be found. Elliott Wolf, people don't even know what he looks like. I mean, he's not available to the media. And so it's just this constant passing the buck which is just so the opposite of what made the Patriots great. The culture that you thought you were latching onto to continue some Patriots greatness is just the opposite of what we saw this past year. Again, it went from do your job to know your place in a year. It went from Super Bowl championships to, oh, it's so great. He lets us ride bikes in the locker room, and there's couches in the locker room. Like, it's little things, but it's going against the culture that the Krafts thought was just going to carry over into the Mayo era. I said it on the Pete Souza show. You can check that out as well. That's every weekday at 10 a.m. Central Time here on the Rogue Media Network. But like, they just thought they were going to ride the coattails of this culture that was gone when Belichick was gone. And Belichick had a great moment on the McAfee show yesterday. I'm not going to play the clip because I don't want to be demonetized. But he said, he gets asked about, and plus he starts talking about the Packers in the clip. I don't want to do that. But they ask him about, hey, what's your thoughts on the things that happened in New England? You know, Jerod Mayo out after 1 year. And he says, look, I don't have to say anything about the decision-making in New England. That's Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, Robin Glazer. Whoa, Belichick just dropping the Robin Glazer hammer in there. That's very intentional from Belichick. And it kind of highlights what the problem still is with the Patriots is, okay, now you've got the boogeyman out of the room in Jerod Mayo, but there's more structural damage here in the people that are in place in the front office. And I don't think this organization is bold enough to get rid of Elliott Wolf with a draft coming up, a draft that he is scouted for. I don't think they're willing to do that. And like, I do get that to some respect, but I think overwhelmingly fans and analysts will think this organization needs a clean break. They need a fresh start. And they also need someone whom their new coach can coexist with, because clearly this was an arranged marriage with Jerod Mayo and Elliott Wolf, and also Jerod Mayo with some of his assistants. And the last time you had that was in 2000 with Bill Belichick and Bobby Greer. And that was an arranged marriage, and it didn't work. You went 5-11. Belichick suddenly gets control, and they're winning Super Bowls. So I think it's really worth looking at when you can cut ties with Elliott Wolf and move on from Elliott Wolf and find new player personnel development. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I had no idea that the assistant GM with the Kansas City Chiefs, winners of the last 2 Super Bowls and 3 of the last 5, is like has a bunch of Patriots ties, New England ties. Mike Borgonzi, who is now interviewing to be the GM of the Jets, is a Massachusetts guy. I think he's from Everett. He was a player personnel guy with BC when they made back-to-back ACC championship games. He worked with Pioli. Pioli brought him to Kansas City 15 years ago. Like, there's a bunch of Patriots ties there. He went to Brown. And yet he is now interviewing for the GM of the Jets. Like, that is perfect right there, man. Pioli disciple, Massachusetts guy, assistant GM for the best franchise in the league. And we're here with Elliott Wolf, absentee Elliott Wolf, because his dad was pretty good. Ugh. It shakes me to my core. There are still corrections that need to be made within this Patriots organization. I'm telling you, there are. And it's not just getting rid of big bad Jerod Mayo. That's just the first step. The Red Sox need all kinds of corrections too. They've made some. They've gotten in the bargain bin. But now there are rumors. There are rumors again that they are ready to spend big on a big time name. We'll tell you what that latest report is coming up next on the Cam Show.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Download Blogify now in the App Store. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at eSIMX.com. That's ESIMX.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It is Matt Mosley, and it's the Obstructed View podcast, Rogue Media Network. I think they're learning that there's really no wonderful view of me. See, I feel like they think this feed's going to be really wonderful.
There must have been no BS, like 20 scouts, 15 to 20 NBA scouts there to see him, and he was top 5.
When your old number wasn't working, I went through various channels to track you down. So unfortunately, you can never get away from me, but I'm happy to have you today.
No, thanks for having me. And you know, we always family no matter where I'm at.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast. Look at this. We got one of the great golfers in the world, certainly one of the great pass rushers in NFL history.
But he also had a vision for you. And so it was like you had the best of both worlds, right? You had somebody on you early, and then you had somebody who was maybe
more relaxed.
What were a couple of your biggest takeaways?
The person you referred to that I spoke with, I've spoken to some personnel people and general managers of the league to get some, independent, objective assessments of the players the Cowboys picked, and we'll go through that.
Has the general manager changed at all in the draft room?
Nope, it's been the same since I was here the last time.
We are back. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. The hottest team in Boston right now is the Red Sox. That's a scary thing to say. It really is. The Celtics are still doing all right with that 2024 World Championship banner, but it's been kind of a slide for them recently. Bad game in Oklahoma City, even though they had everyone healthy for the first time in ever. Oklahoma City is a very good basketball team, but be that as it may, the Red Sox are red hot. Okay, so they missed out on all 3 of the big-time pitchers that they said they would get 2 out of 3, but whatever. They're red hot. They went out there and got Garrett Crochet via trade, and then they get Walker Buehler, which is a low-risk, high-reward kind of deal, but it once again goes to show that this ownership is just not willing to spend the money. And I had this discussion with my dad over break, who follows the Red Sox closer than anyone I know. And we could talk for hours about it. And he just says, it's the same thing. They are not willing to go and spend on guys over 30, specifically pitchers. And I'm like, I get that. And that's been their model for a long time. But that's just not the way the game is played anymore. You can't do that. The goalposts have been moved. Now you don't go over 34, 33, and that's reasonable. But specifically with pitching, and the fact that you have not been able to develop it for 20 years now, like we're still waiting for the Brian Bayo thing to pan out, because the last top end pitcher you developed was John Lester, who was initially part of the A-Rod trade, to show you how long it's been since he was a prospect. Okay. It's been a long time since you've developed a pitcher, a top of the rotation starting pitcher. So in that case, you do need to move the goalposts. Like, you need to go after a Max Fried or a Corbin Burns or a Blake Snell. And they said they were going to go after two out of three of those guys. Instead, you didn't. You went after Walker Buehler, who's 28, 29 at this point, and coming off a big injury. You hope that he's the guy that he was in the postseason rather than the guy he was in the regular season. And again, I don't mind the deal in a vacuum, but again, it goes to show you that they're not willing to spend the money. They'll work up their capital for 5 or 6 years and trade it to Chicago for a guy like Garrett Crochet. Again, another deal I like, but I don't know if those kinds of deals get you to the World Series in the 2020s. I don't know that they do. When you look at LA and you look at the Yankees and you look at the Padres who are in the mix, or the Mets who are in the championship series, that's not what they're doing. You're going off a model that worked 10, 15, 20 years ago and brought you a ton of success. But the model that's bringing success in the 2020s is not that. Or the other model you can say that worked 10 years ago and got a dynasty or dynastic run is what the Astros did. And they developed all that talent. They developed every part of their lineup, man. Every part of it. They developed second base, shortstop, first base, third base, corner outfields, at one point center field. Like, they developed all of that. And they went out and bought pitching for the most part. You had Keuchel, but he wasn't around for the second World Series. And you know what I mean? You got to go out there and get Verlander, and that's the big thing. But they developed all of that talent. The Red Sox have not. And now they're looking at a couple of big name free agent position players, the Red Sox are. And now there's some hesitancy. Nolan Arenado wants to go to the Red Sox. That would be a trade. Alex Bregman, free agent. There's been all kinds of talk. I don't know what Bregman's market is outside of the Red Sox. Cora wants him. Sounds like the front office does not. And now there's a pause on the Bregman talks, because the Red Sox might punt that for this year and go after a big fish in next year's free agency. Because now there are multiple reports coming out that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. wants to play for the Red Sox. He's a free agent in 2026, and he is a hulking right-handed power hitter that you can stick in the middle of the order, which is exactly what the Red Sox need right now. Right now, they need it. And you're trying to kind of make it up in the aggregate with someone like Arenado or Bregman to couple with Trevor Story, who's never healthy for a whole year. I think that's a pipe dream. And I love Arenado as a player. I just don't think he's that player anymore. And I don't think giving up Tristan Casas for that is the right move. And Bregman, his numbers are going down and he's on the wrong side of 30, and you're asking him to play a different position. It sounds a lot like Trevor Story. And Trevor Story did not have an injury history before he got to the Red Sox. Alex Bregman does not have an injury history, but that's the gamble you take when you go after 30, right? Vlad Guerrero Jr., different story. Now, the problem is you're asking the Red Sox fans to wait again and wait another year. The benefit, though, is he's still an all-star caliber player, has made the all-star game every year from 2021 on. And so pretty much all his full seasons with Toronto. And he's going to be entering his prime. He'll be 26 years old as he hits free agency next year. And last year, he went back to looking like an MVP candidate. He finished sixth in MVP voting in 2024. I mean, in a lot of ways, Vlad Jr. is a perfect addition to the Red Sox and exactly what this Red Sox team needs, both short-term and long-term. The only issue that I can find with it is, you got to wait another year, and you are going to have to spend a ton of money, which the Red Sox talk a big game now. They'll say, oh, yeah, we'll just wait for Vlad Jr. in free agency, and then his price tag is going to be too high. We've seen this game before. So that's one of them. But the other thing is, you've talked all offseason about going out and getting X guy and turning Rafi Devers into a first baseman full-time or a DH full-time and not having that positional versatility. Well, you bring in Vlad Jr., it's the same story. And now you got two guys who are that prototype that you aren't going to trust in the infield or in the rangy parts of the infield, right? Third base. And you're going to want to move both of them to DH/first base. And Vlad Guerrero is still a good first baseman defensively now. Toronto's tried him out at third base a couple of times the last 2 years. In fact, he played like 20 games over the last 2 years at third base, and he just doesn't have that range. It's like when Miggy Cabrera was playing third base for Detroit when they had Prince Fielder at first. It just doesn't work. But he is a pretty good first baseman. In fact, he's won a Gold Glove at first base. Like, he is someone who can work at first base. But can he work at first base in 3 years? Because I don't know. I think Rafi is doing a good job at third base right now, a good enough job. But I don't think he does that in 2 years. At age, what would he be then? 29, I think. I got to do my math here. 29 going on 30 in 2 years. Yeah, he came up at age 20 in 2017, I think. I think that's right. So he's my age. But you're going to run into that problem where they're both going to be on big time contracts. Vlad Guerrero, 8 to 10 years. Devers will have 8 years left on his contract that he signed a couple years ago. But the Red Sox fan in me gets butterflies thinking about those two in the middle of the order because I grew up on David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. And it's not crazy to think of those two guys together in the lineup as David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. You look at their head-to-head, their stat comparison since they were both in the league. So from 2019 on, and it's very similar, man. Guerrero's got a better WAR by 0.2. He's played 18 more games. He has 15 more hits. Devers has 9 more homers. Devers has 35 more RBI. Their averages are both in the high 280s. Their OBP both above 350. They're both slugging over 500. Their OPS are both above 860. OPS plus, Devers 132, Vladdy 137. Vladdy was a 166 OPS plus in a big time bounce back year. They both won a couple silver sluggers. This is your next Ortiz Manny right there. It's almost carbon copy. Now, those great teams with Ortiz and Ramirez did have other pieces that this Red Sox team doesn't have yet, but that is a scary thought of those guys batting 3-4. And honestly, I don't follow Vlad as much every day as I do with Devers to say this definitively, but I think this is true. He hasn't played his best baseball yet. He's just entering into his prime. And I certainly feel that way about Devers. I don't think Devers has had his best years yet. Because I'll give it a straight up comparison to Ortiz. Even after the 04-07 World Series championships, Ortiz was still evolving into a even more professional hitter, right? He was the last couple years of his career just as tough and out as he had ever been. Couldn't run the bases like he could before, but he was a very selective hitter and very, very tough out. I think Devers is still becoming that. And just from Guerrero's numbers, it certainly looks like he's becoming that as well. But it's tough to argue how much of a bounce back season that Guerrero had in 2024 and how he's becoming a more complete hitter, not just a TTO guy. But the stats that matter, I'm just looking at his just red ass baseball savant page. I mean, in the 97th or plus percentile in batting run value, xWOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging, average exit velo, bat speed is still in the 95th percentile, hard hits in the 97th percentile. Like, this guy is red as a blood when it comes to his baseball savant page. Like, this is a guy you want to have in the lineup. And his OPS went up. I mean, we talk about the kind of down 2022, 2023. His OPS went up 150 points from 23 to 24. And I know we don't care much about batting average anymore, but it is still a mark of a guy who's maturing as a hitter. 274 in 22, 264 in 2023 to 323 in 24. He had 200 hits, 199 hits in this past year. And like, that is still something in terms of how you see a guy maturing as a hitter. And his OPS plus, again, 166. I think the Red Sox are bullshitting us because they're throwing up a ton of smoke like they always do these days. But like 10, 15 years ago, I would have been all over this because I would have been like, yeah, the Red Sox are going to wait to make this happen. In fact, we saw it as recently as JD Martinez, man. There was all kinds of hype for them to get JD Martinez in 2017 at the trade deadline when Arizona got him and he had a tremendous second half of the year. But there was that belief that they were going to go and sign him in free agency. There was that momentum throughout the whole season when that 2017 team could not get the big hit and did not have the big masher after Ortiz left. You said they're going to go out and get JD Martinez. And they did. And he was putting up near Triple Crown numbers in 2018. If they can get back to that mentality and actually go out there and spend $500 million, $450 million, whatever it's going to be to get Vlad Guerrero Jr., I'm there for it. Manny Ramirez incarnate. I'm here for it. Get Ortiz and Manny back in the middle of this order, and let's start winning some championships. Speaking of winning championships, the Celtics do that. The Miami Heat do not, but they think they can continue to do it because they think they can challenge the Celtics, even without Jimmy Butler. Why? I guess we'll try and make sense of it coming up next on the Cam Show.
Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. Join the Daily High Club, the premier destination for glass, water pipes, vaporizers, and accessories. Since 2015, we've sold over 1 million quality products and teamed up with legends like Snoop Dogg and Tommy Chong. Ready to elevate your smoking game? Visit dailyhighclub.com for our El Primo subscription box or shop unique pieces today. Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but, you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
We are back. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. The Celtics are in a bit of a snag right now. A little bit. They need to find their form again. And it's starting to feel almost like, I mean, we got plenty of time left in the season, but it's almost feeling like the end of LeBron's tenure in Cleveland in the sense that, like, they don't care what seed they get. They have the best team. And in that case, you know, 7 or 8 years ago, it was, well, we have LeBron, so it doesn't matter what seed we have. Remember the Celtics got the 1 seed in 2017? Then they fell down 2-0 to Chicago at home, and everyone was saying it's the worst 1 seed of all time. They did go to the conference finals that year. But they lost to Cleveland. And that was the thing. Like, Cleveland didn't matter what seed they got. And I think that's where the Celtics fans are at here in early January, because Cleveland, ironically enough, is the top team in the East. The Celtics have lost some games. They're probably not on the stretch that they were at this point last season, but I think Celtics fans are all not really worried until we get to the postseason, and then we can talk about worrying. But if they're the 2 seed or the 3 seed, I don't think it matters all that much. In fact, they're just as good a team. The last couple of years, they've been just as good a team on the road as they were at home. So it's not that huge a deal. While the Celtics are struggling a bit right now, one team that is almost in free fall, not necessarily on the court, but off the court, is the team with apparently the best culture in the NBA, the Miami Heat. Because we went over it on the show last week, Jimmy Butler basically saying he has no joy in basketball anymore. And, you know, I think the Celtics had a big hand in that. He wasn't in that series last year, and he was trying to call out the Celtics and how, you know, the Heat were going to win this game and win in 5 and whatever. And Pat Riley told him to shut up. He says, if you're not playing, shut your mouth. And that kind of starts this spiral for the Jimmy Butler era in Miami, which has now led to him basically wanting to get traded. I mean, he told the media last week he's probably not going to find his joy again playing for the Miami Heat. And now he's on the block big time. I pitched it with Zach to maybe go have a reunion with the Houston Rockets, go back home to Houston, or maybe now the hot talk is with the Suns, which would make just perfect sense. The Suns will just accrue as much talent as they can to underperform and not win. But anyway, it looks like Jimmy Butler's out. And so to most of us, that means Miami, it's finally time to rebuild. And you should, I don't want to say welcome that opportunity, but not shy away from it, because I think Pat Riley is still one of the best executives in the game, even at his advanced age. And Eric Spoelstra still might be one of, if not the best coach in the NBA. and they play kind of a nasty style, but it does get them to the postseason all the time. And now there are reports coming out that the Heat do not want to rebuild because they don't feel they have to. This is from NBA Central, not Centel. I had to double check a couple times. The Miami Heat believe Boston is beatable, that they can still contend without Jimmy Butler, by someone called Sports Reader. I don't know. Miami would want a win now piece in any trade involving Jimmy Butler because they have no plans to rebuild. Quote, in internal deliberations, the Heat concluded they would want a key piece to help them win now in any deal that would send Butler away from Miami. We don't do rebuilds, one source quipped. The Heat operate even now as Butler looks to force his way to any other NBA team under the idea that they are a real contender. They believe avoiding the play-in tournament is critical. They acknowledge the Celtics are the East's best team, but they don't view them as unbeatable. They point out, as they have for years, their track record of playoff success post-LeBron came when most around the NBA doubted their chances, as they do today. This is like the line we hear from USA Soccer whenever they underachieve, because it's like, well, we do our best when no one believes in us. And yeah, they got to the finals twice post-LeBron. They didn't win either of them, and they weren't very competitive in either of them, but they did get to the finals twice, and both times they had to knock out the Boston Celtics. I acknowledge that. But if you think that this Miami team can compete without Jimmy Butler, and I'm talking like, this is what they're saying, like getting to the conference finals, getting to the finals, you're living in banana land, brother. This is a fantasy game that you're playing. No chance, man. And right now, I think they do avoid they don't avoid the play-in right now. They're in the 7th spot. So they don't avoid the play-in right now, even though they are having a decent year so far for what they've been dealt. They are miles away from the Celtics. Like, I don't know who needs to hear that, but apparently Pat Riley does. They are miles away from the Celtics. And maybe you trade him to Phoenix, and maybe just in this hypothetical wild scenario, you do get someone like Bradley Beal in return, pretty good player. You're still miles away from the Celtics. Like I don't think that's adding anything if you're subtracting Jimmy Butler, especially when it comes to playoff time, because we know how much Butler can raise his game in the playoffs. Turns from Jimmy to Himmy. Bradley Beal has not showcased that in his career. So I don't know what planet they think they're on, but it's a couple of suns away from the planet that the Boston Celtics are on. I truly don't think they are anywhere close. And I don't think they're particularly, like, they need to be competing with, like, maybe the Knicks, but they're not up there on the same plane as the Celtics in Cleveland right now. Nowhere close. And I think it's funny that they're just going to live in this fantasy land, because what they're going to become is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And right now, if you want to use the analogy, it's the 2010s, and the Celtics are the Patriots, and the Heat are the Steelers, who don't believe in rebuilds and are just going to run back, the same culture, the same coach, and the Steelers will win 9 or 10 games and then check out, and Miami will be in a playoff position, whether it's play-in or not, and then they'll check out. And that's good enough for them. And I think most franchises would like to, all right, you know what? We're not a real contender. Let's blow it up and become a real contender in a couple of years. Miami's not going to do that, just like the Steelers don't. And they're just going to be in this limbo until something generational falls in their lap at the end of the first round, which happens, I would say, even more often in the NFL than it does in the NBA. It doesn't happen very often in the NBA. And you can have a great coach and a great GM, but if you don't have the players, you're just going to be stuck. You're just going to be stuck in this. You're not on the same plane as the Celtics. Not even close. And we saw it with the Steelers going up against the Patriots all those years. It was no contest, man. The Patriots were their daddy for 20 years. And that's what's building now with Miami and Boston. Because, yeah, you got a couple over us in 2020 in the bubble. Great. 2023, Celtics should have absolutely won that series. But they fell behind, and then Tatum rolls his ankle in Game 7 after the great comeback, and you won that. But that ain't happening again without Jimmy Butler. I hate to break that to you and burst your bubble, but the Celtics are not playing down to the Heat's competition anymore. I mean, you saw it in the first round last year. Miami didn't have Jimmy Butler. The Celtics didn't have Porzingis, and they wiped them away in 5 games. It wasn't particularly close. They had one off night, and then they destroyed him. Derek White destroyed him. So I don't know where this thought process is coming from, but if I'm a Miami Heat fan, that's scaring the shit out of me, if we're being honest, of like, oh boy, this is the way our franchise is thinking about this, because in reality, we're nowhere close. I don't think they're anywhere close, personally. Zach's Houston Rockets are in a much better position than Miami's the Miami Heat post Jimmy Butler. Anyway, that's a different thing. The Celtics need to get back right. And it felt like they did so in terms of health, but they need to get back right in terms of playing their game. Because now I thought they actually played a great game against Zach's Rockets on Friday. They kind of took over the woodshed, the league's best defense, and beat them by 23 points. They kind of hunted Şengün a little bit in that game. I thought that was nice to see. But they need to string some wins together. They need to go on like a nice little 8 or 10 game winning streak. And they've got a marquee matchup tonight after, obviously a big time matchup with Oklahoma City. All they've got is a little TNT matchup in Denver against the Nuggets, with the 2 reigning conference players of the week. Jason Tatum in the Eastern Conference with averaging 30-something a game over the last week, and Nikola Jokic, the Western Conference player of the week, with, I think it was 40-something points a game and 16.5 rebounds a game over the week. That's pretty good, even if it is 3 games. That's a pretty good cut right there. Also, big time matchup for the Bruins tonight. I got to friggin' watch college basketball for a good part of it, but the Bruins welcome in the Oilers. It's exactly what they need on a 4-game losing streak, is to welcome Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid and the defending Western Conference champs into their building. They hung with Edmonton last time. They probably should have won that game. That was the one that was at the end of the road trip, but they kind of ran out of gas at the end of the race. So, of course, we will break all of that down for you and more coming up tomorrow on the Cam Show. It's going to be a fun, full show. Who knows what jersey Cam will wear and brag about for 10 minutes and talk about the money he spent and how he bought it and where it came from. But you know what? Zach has birthed that. Zach has opened up that door, which I am more than welcome to walk into. So anyway, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment on how much you hate the show down in the comment section below. The likes and subscribes really helps the channel. And if you ring that notification bell, you'll get notified every time we're going live here on YouTube, high noon Eastern time every weekday. And then after that, wherever you get your podcast. So thanks for making the Cam Show and Rogue Media Sports Network a part of your daily routine. We will see you tomorrow on the Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.